What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. Let me know in the chat who's here, where you're tuning in from. Pablo, tuning in from Argentina. Good morning, good morning. What's up? Nunya Biz, where he's tuning in from, but happy Friday anyway. Welcome from Nigeria, Norway, Germany, Afghanistan. Welcome in, guys. Kenya, New York, East Coast represent. United Kingdom, but back in Ohio. Apparently it isn't none of you biz. Did share. Georgia, United States, Georgia. Evening from Australia. Another trader from Afghanistan. Cool, guys. Welcome in, everybody. Got a global group here. Anybody else here from Florida? I'm tuning in from Florida, as always. The great state of Disney World. Another Argentina. Welcome in. I got friends in Argentina. So we'll get into analysis today, talk about some order flow. The bears showed up last night, guys. The bears finally showed up in more ways than one. The bears showed up in the markets. The bears showed up at my house actually at 2 a.m., tore up my trash. So that was fun. Just cleaning up trash on this Friday morning. Yeah, the bears pulled up to my house. They know I'm a typical bull in the market, and they showed up in the markets. They showed up at my house too. No, we got alligators, we got bears, we got everything. We got all the things here in Florida. But yeah, they come periodically. They like my trash. Little trash bandits come in and tear it up, have a little snack. So that was fun. Welcome in from Nigeria. Can't see the bears on Bookmap. They're these big red bubbles. We got black bears here in Florida. Got him on my Ring camera out there at my trash can. He was bigger than the trash can. He's a big old black bear. What's up, Chi-Man? Good morning. Welcome in, DG Finance. Welcome in, guys. So as we get started here, quick shout out to our sponsors. 90% off right now on Apex. Make sure you use code CF to go ahead and get that if you are in need of that. We have lots of good sponsors here on the channel that make this possible for you guys. Alpha Capital, another one. We're gonna have some giveaways today as well. Make sure you are participating in the chat, asking good questions, and you may be selected for those giveaways throughout the stream today. Check out TradeZella, code CF20 for a discount on TradeZella as well. That is my favorite tool for tracking my data and optimizing my data for improving my trading. Good sign for the bear market. I'm in Central Florida, near Disney World. Central Florida. Shout out to Prop Firm Trader as well. All right, guys, you know the drill. Get the codes there for the best deals. Let's get into some analysis today. This is Bookmap. This is one of my favorite order flow analysis tools. Not the only one. I've got others, but I usually check that out for real-time analysis here on ES and NQ. I primarily trade both ES and NQ futures, options as well on SPY and QQQ, but haven't taken many options trade recently. I've actually been more focused on NQ lately. Volatility's just been better, just having better trades, better risk versus reward overall. So we'll get into some analysis here. Let me split my screen here so I can pull up some daily charts. Market's just been on a pretty relentless uptrend. NQ has flipped a little bit weaker. Not crazy weaker, but just a little bit weaker. Profit taking and whatnot, probably triggering here at the all-time highs. I don't have too much planned news today as far as fundamentals go. We have Trump on that China summit, whatever they're doing over there, talking about trade and economics and stuff that can have an impact on the markets. Let's see, let me know in the chat if you guys are tracking anything about that, any speeches planned or anything. I don't see much on my calendar. Don't see too much. Yeah, I'm seeing not too much planned news today. All right, so let's look at some daily charts here. I like to start out just kind of looking at higher time frames, looking at daily charts, looking at weekly charts, getting a feel for where the market's at overall. We've been holding a pretty relentless uptrend, so I don't have too much reason to go against that. We are starting to see for the first time decent bit of selling coming in for the first time in a while here, but nothing too crazy. Pull up a screenshot here. All right, so let's just take a zoomed out view here. ES on the left hand side, NQ on the right hand side, daily charts. Like to just take a look at this for analysis overall. You can see we've been holding this pretty relentless grind up here, this channel. A little bit more up and down volatility on NQ, and I've been liking trading NQ more lately than ES, to be honest with you guys. ES has just been kind of a grind here. Yeah, multi-day trend line testing, just kind of grinding up in this channel. Now, something that I'm watching here is this last area where we consolidated a good bit for a couple days, built a decent amount of volume there. We'll take a look at that on the volume profiles. That's a little interesting area here to watch for potential bounce today, or if we break through, you know, that would be a pretty big downside move today. Haven't seen that in quite a long time, but anything's possible. Looking at the volume specifically, this is the first time we've kind of seen volume shift lower like this in a while. I'll show you what I mean on a volume profile here in a second. But looking at this on NQ as well, I don't really have much down here. We had this little bit of a basing period here on this daily chart. We've kind of cut all the way through that now. Really the only thing I have here is this prior low here. That prior low is an interesting spot, especially since we had this really aggressive buying here that we traded down into and held with that wick there. You see that? Not super technical with price action candle charts alone, guys. It's just general structure. Start giving me a general idea where I want to watch volume, watch the order flow for my trades. So a couple key spots here. Let's take a look at some volume profiles. Taking a look at deep chart here. Again, this is intraday charts with a volume profile and some big orders filters drawn on here. This is deep charts, new tool, great tool. Been using it lately and like it. This is NQ on the right hand side, ES on the left hand side. And I marked a couple zones here. These are kind of the first areas of interest for me. There was a big buyer back here, which we can't see on the screenshot. And then there was a lot of selling here. And then we had a nice V-shaped recovery from here. And then once we got above it, this was kind of a resistance area that kind of turned into support now. So this is just an interesting area. It's just the first nearest area that I could kind of find to mark. There was also some interesting order flow on there previously around this area that I have a zone marked on Bookmap as well. But kind of around 29,100 plus or minus a few in that prior low there. This kind of area is an area of interest to me to see what happens if we trade a little bit lower here this morning into that area. Got prior lows there, some big orders that previously hit here. There's kind of a little bit of a low volume node here as well. So there's just a few things in this general zone here that will bring my attention to. Either if we see pops fail this morning, either potentially use that as a target, or if we trade down into there, potentially use that to scalp reversal off of. Looking at ES side here, kind of can't see it because I'm so zoomed out to get this in full view for you guys here, but there was a lot of really big aggressive buyers here on this. We had this little dip and recapture, and on that recapture there was a lot of big aggressive buying there. We also have value area low there, value area high from a prior day here with some big orders here as well. So we see how this zone here is kind of a key spot. Now we're testing that already in the pre-market here. And you can see how the point of control has shifted down here. We've shifted a lot of volume lower, right? So we had a big buildup yesterday at the highs. And then for the first time in a while, looking at this volume profile, you can see the wavier pattern, trending directional move. And we can see how the volume has kind of built lower and lower. Same thing over here on NQ. That's the first time in a while we've seen like a downtrending pullback move where the market auction transacted more and more volume lower, which is a general sign that prices are being accepted lower and lower. Heavier volume is being transacted as we move lower. Haven't really seen too many big orders of aggressive buyers. Like just looking at this during this downtrend, I just see a lot of aggressive selling. By the way, these bubbles on my settings here for NQ and ES, I think I have this filtered out to show me only bubbles showing me lots bigger than 95 lots on NQ, and it's like 150 lots. So if one of these bubbles pops up on this chart here with my volume profile, it's showing me that there was a aggressive order that hit that was bigger than 95 lots on NQ or bigger than 150 lots on ES. That's a cool little indicator. Just to, not really an indicator, but just showing you where big aggressive participants are getting involved. It's good to see. Something I look at already on Bookmap and like real-time order flow and footprint charts as well, but I like to see it overall because I can see it with my volume profile here and kind of filter out any noise, just see a little bit of higher time frame picture and see exactly where big players are getting involved. So all that to say, This is the first kind of spot that I'm watching on this dip this morning. We've traded all the way down overnight to this area, and this is kind of the first area that I see this morning that I'm going to pay attention to. Either one, if we see pops fail this morning, if we see a rally this morning, try to shift structure back to the upside. We could watch these little low volume spots here, little low volume nodes, like there, like there, right at these prior highs. So if we see an attempt to rally fail and get absorbed, and we are shifting structure substantially, then we could see, a top reversal kind of fail there, and this could be target points. If we drop into this morning and it holds and we see a lot of significant buying, then this could be a point where the market holds and we could recapture one back into this high volume range. If you look at this here, we have a pretty distinct high volume range here now forming right in here. So at a minimum, right, if we do bounce off this, we could get at least a pop like back towards this point of control or back towards the middle of this high volume range here this morning. So I'm watching out for that scenario. And then if we recapture that, we could trade up towards one of these low volume nodes. Right, so those are the first key spots that I'm watching for kind of bottoms and tops. Inside the middle of this high volume range here, I don't see much that I love. Hopefully that's not too marked up to bits for you guys. I'll just drop that screenshot here in Chart Fanatics if you guys are interested in seeing that on the Discord. And then if you check out the Matt Owen channel, get updates and analysis from me on Chart Fanatics Discord. So that's what I'm watching out for here this morning. Pretty simple overall. Can take a look a little closer here on my other chart. So here is a 30-minute volume profile chart on NQ. And you can see this little low volume area right around these prior lows where we had those big orders as well. Kind of this zone here between like 29,100 and 29,050 remains a key location, and we have some prior lows there as well. This is that high volume range here. This is that first little low volume node. You can see we already kind of popped, made a high in there. So that was a nice little pre-market short there, right at that low volume node, if anybody was looking for that early this morning. But again, kind of watching to see if we do drop down here, if we just get a pop like back into this high volume range here, or if we do pop today, do we continue to reject? You can see we've got 20 EMA and VWAP being respected on this downtrend here. So if we do try to pop and maybe test one of these low volume nodes, if we get a rejection at one of those, that could be an opportunity just to scalp now that sellers are really factored in the market, or it could be we drop substantially lower from there if sellers mean business and we're going to start downtrending now for a few days. Below this zone, I really don't have much other than like prior lows. I guess there's a little bit of a high volume node here range. So I guess this kind of spot here would be like a next place to look, just under like 28.9. This doesn't look too significant to me here, right? If we trade through there, we could probably trade towards this high volume area here. All right, so that's in Q. Take a look at ES. All right, so ES chart here, 30-minute volume profile. Again, look how we've like transacted more and more volume lower and lower this morning. This is the first time we've really shifted volume like this. During this uptrend, you can see how we have been generally, you know, aside from this day where we had this big V-shaped blob, right? But for the most part, we've been transacting a lot of volume higher and higher. And this is the first time we've shifted that structure in a while and really building volume down towards the lows. So we need to watch this morning to see if that continues. But as far as this goes, that's fine. This is kind of this area, that high volume node there, that prior value area low there, and we had some big orders that hit there, kind of around this 74.25 to 30 area. Is a kind of a key spot. We don't really see those big orders here like we see on deep chart, but they were right around here. So this is kind of a key spot. We had a prior high volume area there. It's once broken above, it was respected with a lot of aggression from buyers right there. And so we're kind of testing it now. We've transacted a lot of volume lower and lower. So this is kind of a key spot to watch. If we break below that, I don't see it much from us quickly trading towards, you know, some prior lows. Good morning. Billy, good morning. Get right, good morning. So that's the analysis in a nutshell, guys. Pardon me, I'm still kind of getting over a cold here. Hey Gavin, yeah, I mean we just went through NQ. Pretty much all the stuff we just went through on NQ. Take on CVD. I don't, you know, look at cumulative volume delta on the day too much. A little bit, especially if there's a substantial divergence going on. So we came down here this morning to what? 29,145. So just about 40-50 points above that zone that I talked about. Starting to get a bounce already ahead of it. But looking at the session volume profile here, you can see how much volume is stacked lower. And then this area up here is that first area we see a really distinct low volume area. And this is going to be an important area to pay attention to here this morning. If we do get a pop up here, I'll go ahead and mark this on Bookmap here. Yeah, that area up there is a low volume area where there was really aggressive sellers on this last leg down. So that's going to be, and it's just over some prior highs that rejected here. So that's going to be a key spot to watch if we retest. Kind of zoom out here a little bit. Trying to increase this filter. And let's take a look at ES over here. Whoa, big orders sitting down here skewed the book. Look at that big order sitting down there. Interesting. That could act like a magnet to price down there. So we're kind of coming up to this first little low volume area here now already on this pop. We can see right in here. So kind of already pop into this first little area to watch out for on the session volume profile here this morning. Maha likes these opacity settings. Well, this is ES. ES, the heat map on ES is a little cleaner, and I have just the delta bubbles. On NQ, whoa, heads up. It's a little more visually noisy on NQ. So a little bit of aggression here coming in 5 minutes before the bell. A little bit of aggressive buying. Look at the, so if you look down here at the bottom of my book map, I have these bars that show me the delta of aggressive buyers or aggressive sellers. You can see the surge in aggressive buying here. Now we're popping back up. Really aggressive little pop here before the market opened. We dipped just like 40 points above that zone that I was going to watch here on NQ, and we're already kind of ripping off of it. So now we got to kind of see these little low volume spots that we talked about. We just tested this. There's a lot up here. Look at these. Look at this huge order that came up here. Not huge, but like 50 lots. Pretty dark spot there on the heat map. See what happens up there. I was hoping we would pop into this zone and test it after the 9:30 bell, and it looks like we're ripping straight up for it here already before the market even opens. Just a few minutes. So that's tough. Yeah, look at how those bigger size orders got placed up there. Watch what happens if we pop into that. All right. When your daily bias is wrong, what does your post-market review look like? I don't really have a daily bias, guys. I don't really have a daily bias where I go into the day and like, I'm looking for longs, I'm looking to shorts. I am completely neutral always. I have different scenarios to see, you know, how the auction plays out. And, you know, so I may have what if scenarios. Like if the market does this, then I may look for longs here. If the market does this, then I may look for shorts here. I'm a short-term trader. I'm looking at, you know, reading the tape, reading the order flow to tell me where is there areas of balance, where is there areas of imbalance, and how can I capitalize on it. I don't come into the charts based on technical analysis that's happened in the past and think I know whether it's going to be a bearish day or a bullish day. That's retarded. No offense. At least that's dumb for me. It means nothing. The only thing that means anything is coming up with key areas where the market's transacted volume and the auction may react to again. And then I look at the real-time market auction, what it's doing there to find setups. But I do not ever have like obviously if the market is bullish overall and uptrending, I'm gonna be more inclined to go with that higher time frame trend, especially that higher time frame trend over the last 5 to 10 days. But I don't ever have like a bias, like the traditional sense that a lot of people talk about, like where they're like looking to be a bear or bull on a day based on whatever price action they've looked at. That doesn't mean too much to me. So to answer your question though, if I find myself going against the market, right? I guess you could say, if I find myself, I had a plan, a what if scenario, and I find myself just being on the wrong side of the market going against it, I try to accept that quickly, right? And just if that's the case, have a losing day. I don't sit there and fight the market. And then when I go back and review, I review, was my analysis just wrong? Did news come out that just dramatically shifted what I was looking at overall? What was the case? Did I take good losses or bad losses? Good losses being like, I followed my plan, I had a setup, I had a scenario, it just didn't work out, right? That's fine, that's part of the game. if I have bad losses where like I really didn't have a plan, I just kind of, maybe I got overly biased based on what I thought should happen, and it didn't happen, and then I kind of fought the market, that's a different scenario. And I'm going to remove this zone now, we didn't get much reaction there. Then I need to reflect a bit on what happened there. So we're kind of quickly already before the bell slicing all the way from the lows of that zone back up to the highs of this little high volume range that I talked about here. So this is going to be a key spot for me right there, that low volume node with those prior highs right there. This morning, that's going to be a key spot here. So here's the 9:30 bell. Let's see what happens. Surge of aggressive buying coming in already 5 minutes before the open. This could be a volatile one today, guys. This is the first time we've had some, you know, downside move in a while. That can trigger some volatility. Spiked through this zone as well on ES. Coming up here to this zone. Let me look at the volume profile on ES. Coming up here right towards VWAP and that 20 EMA. That surge of aggressive buying into this offer. So what happened here, you can see this dark orange spot. That was a passive seller. He filled and then kind of failed to auction any higher from there, like right off the 9:30 bell there. Looking at ES here, I just showed you guys that screenshot on NQ. Looking at ES here, we got this kind of high volume range. Value area high, low, point of control in the middle. Got a pretty distinct low volume node there where these aggressive sellers came in overnight. So that's a key spot to watch there, especially because it's near the value area high there as well. And we've got VWAP and the 20 EMA continuing to be respected here. We just popped into that, very close there. So we'll see what happens here. If we fail to recapture this, then we could drop back towards the lows again, or at least to the middle again. And below that, I really don't see much then, because we're already trying to hold this area that I talked about in the pre-market game plan. So if we fail here now after already trying to hold that, then we could break that, and I don't see much going for prior lows down here towards 7,400. Talking ES now. Big aggressive seller hit like right at the point of control here on NQ. That's kind of interesting. Where did that go? Oh, there it is. Going back to these are those zones from the volume profile that I mentioned. This area here, see the big buyers up there. But this is what I was talking about. We popped right to the point of control and the bigger seller popped up there. This range here, this is that zone. Still haven't tested that area on NQ yet down there. But we're kind of building some weakness here, especially after that pretty aggressive pop that started in the pre-market there, failed. It's kind of building some weakness here. Unfortunately, that pump started 5 minutes, a couple minutes before the open, and I'm not really looking to short an aggressive pop right off the 9:30 bell there, so it didn't really give me a setup there. Now we're dropping back towards that zone on ES, and Q is holding up a little better here. And Q's holding up a little more here. Aggressive buying, stepping in here on aggressive buying, stepping in here on NQ right away. Dip down there to that little basing area. Ripped on NQ. Some really aggressive buying coming in here. See if we hold this buying. Tried that long here on NQ. I'm gonna have a pretty tight stop. I'm in at 29. I'm gonna trail my stop break even right now. I want to see it pop over these prior highs. Oh, it got swept out there, taking it off. See if we dip this low one more time here and hold. It's gonna recapture here. Tried it again here. Nope, taking it off. A couple point stop there. All right, maybe pull back a little bit more here. Looking at this low here. Man, swept back just a little bit more. See if this holds. Yeah, I don't like how the aggressive buying's like trying to step in here, but then quickly failing. We'd want it to see hold a little bit stronger, a little faster here. See if we can recapture this here. This aggressive buying's trying to come in again. Taking this long at 20 here. Nope. Pulling back. Wanted to see that long there if we held kind of a recapture of VWAP, but did not. All right. Aggressive selling still pushing lower here. Let's wait. What I was looking at here is this spot where those aggressive buyers came in to see if we wanted to hold this spot here. But it's, once that hasn't held and we dip below that, I'm now sitting back waiting. We have that untested zone down there at 29,100, 29,050. This is that zone here, kind of marked on Bookmap down here. More aggressive buying stepping in down here. We're coming in towards that value area low. Nice aggressive buying stepping in here now. Volume's kind of thinning out on these pops, which I don't love so much. There's some aggressive buying that came in. Kind of like that now. Some pretty aggressive buying came in right here. If we can pull back. What's ES doing? That big bid that we saw there in the pre-market pulled, but then more popped up here. Pulling back to this spot on NQ. Some buying coming in there. Like the aggressive buying stepping in here again, but let's see. Trying this long here on that zone where these aggressive buyers, where I'm looking for this to squeeze over these prior highs here. I'm in at 21.95. Stops trailing break even here. If this sweeps back, I'm going to take it off. Want it to see it go immediately. Nope, I'm out. See if it pulls back into this zone. I'll look to fill it again. Some aggressive selling coming in there. Still trying to hold. More coming in. Still in that zone, but wow, some more aggressive selling coming in. Just came to the bottom of that little area where those aggressive buyers were there. Can see this spot here at 70 popping up with a lot of bids. Trying it here at 77. Again, trailing break even. Would like to see this reclaim those prior highs up there above 29, 210. If this fails again, I'm going to stop at break even at 78. Yep, I'm out. All right. Seeing this aggressive buying coming in here, I want to catch it, but it keeps fizzling out. I've been up 20, 30 points multiple times trying to catch this. Oh man, did I trail too fast? I like the aggressive buying that's defending here, so I want to catch it to pop back up into these highs, but it keeps dying out. I've been up 20, 30 points here on this attempt a couple times now, and it keeps fizzling out. Yeah, I want to see the aggressive buyers defend pretty much immediately when I'm catching one of these, because this is kind of counter trend here. But this is kind of a sign now, I think, that we're failing to hold these highs, and the buying kind of fizzles out multiple times. We're not holding the zone that I wanted to see hold. So probably going to sit back here and stay patient again. I like how the aggressive buyers are trying to defend it here, but it's just running out of gas quickly on each pop. Yeah, and we've consistently held lower highs each time here. So let this drop further first. There's some big negative delta that just spiked. Whoa. There was some bigger negative delta. See that here? That bid stepped in right there. Yeah, that was pretty big. That was some big negative delta there on the break of those lows. Coming down here towards this 29,100 zone now. See what happens if we kind of dip a little bit lower towards this 29,100 to 29,050 zone. That was some pretty big negative delta that hit there, though. If they become trapped, if we squeeze back above them after testing that zone, then that could trigger a nice aggressive pop. Yeah, we could definitely keep going lower, but to me, I don't really want to chase this downside down here right now. It's much easier for me to scalp, even scalp pops off these zones. So let's see what happens if we get down here. Just tested that 29,100 area. Some aggressive buying stepping in now. Oh, nice. More bids following price up and defending. Nice. Bought that dip there, but it happened way too fast for me to call it for you guys. Here, I'll show you the trade. We recaptured that 20 EMA. I just took it off here as soon as we recaptured back in that volume. So we saw the delta flip here. Pullback held right at that 20 EMA. See the really weak delta from sellers there. Instant long there, stop under that low that formed, looking for a pop back up into that high volume range there. Now let's see. That was that zone too. Let me show you this. So we dipped into that zone that I talked about, that golden zone, aggressive sellers. And this is what I was saying. See the aggressive sellers that came right into the low of that got absorbed. And once that aggressive buying started stepping in, that's what I was saying. If we get back above, that could trigger a fast squeeze back up into this range here. So that's exactly what I was looking for that setup. By the time I got in that trade and moved my orders on this, I was already like closing it. It already popped into my target there. Look at that. this little pullback here, we saw bids following price up. So when I see this, when I see us dip into a zone like that, that's key. And then aggressive buying comes in and then pullbacks hold. And then look at the bids following price here, here, and here, following price up. That's like, to me, that is extra confirmation because it's like a bid is lifting and falling. So like if price pulls back, these bids are going to step in and defend. There we go. And that's why, guys, I've been looking for longs on this pullback this morning, right? I'm not looking because at any moment we hit one of these zones where these bids step in and we're going to get that kind of move in these market conditions. Look at that. Holy, I undercapitalized in a big way there, but that's okay. I made a nice chunk. Yeah, I caught it from 122 to 169. Because we hit one of these zones, we're going to spike really hard and trap late sellers. To me, that's easier to catch than trying to chase this thing down. After we've already extended down, the market's pretty bullish overall. We're still up near all-time highs. So I'm first looking for pullbacks to trap sellers at lows. That's just easy scalping. And it can turn into a bigger trade if it forms a bottom and we start, moving back towards all-time highs again. Now I'll shift from that mindset if we actually start breaking prior lows on the daily chart here. If we start breaking prior lows and holding under prior lows on the daily chart, then I'll be a lot more interested in flipping a little bit more towards scalping the shorts. Curry asked, how do you become so fast with execution? Well, first of all, I have OCO orders set that take my trades or manage my trades partially, especially on NQ because it's just so damn fast. So I can show you this. I have this set up on Trade-Evate, Sierra chart. I'm going to set it up on Deep chart as well, since I'll maybe take some trades on there as well. But I can show you guys my settings for that. But basically, it's this feature, this OCO bracket order feature here. And so when I enter a trade, it's automatically placing a 10-point stop and a 20-point target. And then I manually can manage that. And it automatically trails the trade for me. That's why sometimes I took that long there. My stop automatically placed 10 points, so about there. And then I dragged it up to that low that formed. And then as soon as the trade goes like 7 points in profit, it automatically trails my stop to just above break even, right? So when I execute really fast like this, a lot of times half the trade management is being done by the OCO order for me. It's trailing my stop for me because sometimes it just happens quicker than I can even move the orders on my chart, especially on NQ. On ES, you have a little bit more time. It moves a little slower, but I still have the same OCO orders set on NQ. Honestly, guys, I think I got a little trigger happy there buying the dip off the open. The better play was that one that was finally a winning trade. Took a few break evens in a couple point stop earlier because I saw this selling here in the pre-market and then I saw this aggressive buying. I thought we might hold there. So I got a little trigger happy trying to catch it there. But really, this was the zone that I talked about in the pre-market. So this was not totally a part of my game plan. I got a little dynamic there trying to catch it and I paid for it with a couple break evens. And then this was the trade here. We dipped into that golden zone. Actually, look at this. We dipped on that. Look at that. Into that same zone there on ES. And we had this aggressive selling trying to break down the lows. Once we recaptured that, it was just a quick shot. So when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this range that's forming. We have a key demand area just under that range that's forming. If we dip into there and aggressive buying steps in and traps those sellers, we might shift structure back to the upside and we might go take out those highs. But it's like super high probability that we're going to at least bounce back to the middle here. And so generally speaking, when I take scalps like this, I'm looking to get it in here and just take profit on the quick pop right back into the middle. It's super easy money for me to do that. Now, I was just trading one contract here. If I was trading more contracts, I probably would have taken a half profit here and left a runner on to move back towards these highs again. But I'm just kind of trading one contract here. So in and out quick. Now we're back up in the middle of this range. I don't have much here. This is kind of a no man's land for me. If we get back up towards these highs, then I'm more interested in watching again. Show you what I'm talking about. Sorry, my phone's buzzing. So I don't really want to, I don't really love shorting the pops here because overall market's near all-time highs. Anytime we've gotten an aggressive pullback like this in the last few weeks, it's been a buying opportunity. That's why I've been looking to buy it, right? Especially volume taper off and trap those sellers right in that zone, Really nice, really clean. Now we're ripping. Super high probability target is just a rip back up into this high volume range. If we continue above this, we could pop back at least towards that low volume node. I am watching this to see if sellers step in again up here. It could be a counter trend scalp back down again if we kind of continue to hold in this kind of channel-y thing that we're doing here too. But, you know, if given how much everybody's positioned to the short side now from that overnight selling, if we recapture this, you know, one, I took this scalp back up into the range. Now, if we break out and hold over this, that could be another scalp to retrace a lot of this overnight selling back up into some prior highs up there. Now, I don't want to neglect ES too much for you guys. If you guys are, you can see how we trap those sellers right in that same range on ES here. Let's take a little bit of a look. I've just been liking the volatility lately on NQ, right? Because I can take a couple break evens like I did, even a couple point loss there, just managing it tightly and just easily catch 30, 40, 50 point scalps on NQ. Look at that volume shelf really tapered off there. Did not get very much participation. Absorb those sellers right in that zone. Like, look how precise that is, right? No hindsight. You guys saw me share that zone with you guys before the session even started. So precise. That's just from knowing where the market auction has transacted volume and where big buyers have stepped in. They're likely to defend it again. Can't see that on a candle chart alone. Right now, again, high probability pop back up into this range. We did that. But now what's next? Do we shift structure now and now hold above this? I'd watch some of these low volume nodes, value area high there, 68th percentile of the volume. So I'd watch kind of these prior highs as well as that value area high that's formed there. If we recapture that today and pullbacks hold, then we could quickly retrace a lot of this lower volume area back towards the overnight. Now, if we don't, and sellers continue to defend this, which we're starting to right now, then we could just drop back into this range down here again. I don't really want to execute anything in the middle of this now. I don't really want to execute anything in the middle. If we come back down here to these lows, that might be interesting again, or it might be interesting if we now break that down. Either way, that's kind of a pivotal area. We're still a little ways off of it. Those big sellers came in around 29,140. That's kind of an interesting spot, and that's also like right where the volume shelf is here. This is kind of an interesting spot right here where those guys came in. Came right above them there. This is a good question from Curie. Sorry, guys. I haven't been paying attention to questions in the chat because I'm like super locked in trying to scalp this volatility. Let me see. What did I miss here? Good question from Curie. Let me try to answer it here while we watch this because I'm watching this little spot here too. Do you find that when the market switches, your edge deteriorates, or do you feel like order flow is something that cannot fail? I feel like order flow is something that has an edge in every market condition in every market, because it's not like a simple candle chart pattern that anything can pick up on, right? It doesn't have edge decay like a candle chart pattern, because really the edge is adaptation. It's just knowing how to read the market auction in real time. So like the entire edge is being able to adapt. Yes, there are very repeatable things and setups that I look for, but like the entire edge is just reading the market auction in real time, like these aggressive buyers that are coming in after these bids defended here, right? So I have setups that work in all different market conditions. And, you know, I don't trade a lot of markets. I just trade ES and NQ primarily, the S&P and the NASDAQ. So I have a very good read on the order flow on those things. And so is there edge decay? No, not really. Like there's certain patterns that you'll see that occur more frequently in certain conditions. I'm talking about volume patterns, not candle chart patterns. There's certain things that algos will kind of pick up on and it'll deteriorate. But overall, the underlying edge is just knowing how to read the real-time market auction. It's an advanced skill that takes more time to learn and master than like a simple moving average crossover strategy, right? However, once you develop that, it's like you have kind of a lifelong skill of just being able to analyze the real-time auction. And that's all, because that's what the market is at its underlying mechanics. So if you just learn how to read that, there's no real, at least in my experience, there's not really like an edge decay like you would have with a price action strategy that you can simply code an algo to trade. Getting a nice defense off the zone, and I kind of missed it there. So typically on a pullback into a zone like this, I like to see exactly this. We saw these big bids stepping in here. So these are big passive buyers stepping in. Look at the aggressive selling that surged here. Look at the delta spike here. So we see a spike of delta right into this. What was this zone? This zone was these prior aggressive sellers that got trapped on that breakdown. So basically think of it like a prior resistance level becoming a support level, right? So these were these big aggressive sellers, and you could think of it on the flip side. These were big passive buyers that absorbed these aggressive sellers on the way down. Now those passive sellers, or sorry, these passive buyers that absorbed these aggressive sellers on the way down may become active aggressive buyers. Now they absorbed passively. Now price is pulling out. Now they're actively buying aggressively. They went from being a passive buyer, absorbing as much as they can. Now retest, slam it, aggressive, fill as much as we can, right? That's how, you know, these plays work often. And so that's why I was watching this zone, because it's simply a resistance area that can become support. Passive buyer, now active, aggressive buyer defending it. Will it hold forever? I don't know. Maybe they fill all their fill and now they, you know, they don't fill anymore and price breaks through there. But it's very high probability that we're at least going to get enough of a reaction off a zone like that that you can scalp it. Now, I wouldn't want to see like a lower high form and us then break that down. If we do that, then we could trade lower. Right? The auction is very dynamic, guys. So we're learning to read the auction and learning to read like where buyers and sellers are coming in. But it's also a matter of identifying real time. Are buyers and sellers continuing to come in, or does that shift? It's like a constant game of tug of war, right? It's like a constant game of tug of war. Imagine like a bunch of people stacked up on two sides of a rope, like a game of tug of war going on. And there's constantly more people going to one side and more people going to the other side. So it's like it's a game of tug of war that is not always even. It's constantly dynamically shifting between buyers and sellers stacking up more on one side or the other. Now there are times like in a trend where there is just consistently more people on that one side of the tug of war game, and it's just easy to read, right? And there are times where it's very balanced and there's like an equal amount of people on one side of the rope or the other of the tug of war game. And there are some times where it's very balanced and, you know, very even on one side or the other, and then all of a sudden freaking bodybuilder comes in on one side of the rope and starts pulling, and we see that on the order flow, right? So that's kind of a good visualization of understanding what we're seeing right here. It's a real-time game of tug of war, but it's not static. It's constantly dynamically changing, the people coming in on one side of the rope or the other. So you can learn price action strategies and moving averages and things like that that give you kind of a high level view, like overview of what's going on. And that can work sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. Or you can forget all of that and just simply understand like how to see who's pulling the rope in real time. You can see this defending again here. The selling got a little weaker on this second pullback here. There's been a little weaker selling here, but buying is also kind of getting weaker here. So it's kind of becoming a little more balanced here. I got that zone from the order flow. You can see it on deep chart. You can see it on Bookmap. You can see it on footprint charts. You can see it a lot of different ways. It's a nice visual here on deep chart because I have it on a volume profile as well as, so I get, this is kind of a nice hybrid because I get the overall auction picture on a volume profile. I can filter out to see just where the big players are getting involved there. Like that's that zone that we just marked on Bookmap. That's it there. We can see those big sellers, right? So now think about who's on the other side of that. When the market was trading down, those big aggressive sellers came in. Well, big aggressive sellers can't buy out of thin air. So that on the flip side is a big passive buyer, right? So that's a big passive buyer. Now, we need to see the reaction of what happens after that. Does that big aggressive seller defend and there's no longer a passive buyer there? Then we could break down. But given the context that we're coming into a demand zone where we know aggressive buyers were here previously and they're likely to want to defend it again, that's why I was watching for it to get trapped down here. And then if we recapture those sellers, then aggressive buyers defend them again, then we could, you know, surge higher. Now that already kind of played out. And it's still developing here. It's a real-time kind of tug of war here right now. But I would err, at least in the current market conditions until proven otherwise, I would err on the side of these buyers continuing to support now and us moving higher. Just because we're at all-time highs still, the market is still bullish overall. This one-day pullback doesn't mean too much, and if anything, for most people, it's just still buy the dip market conditions. The market context is still buy the dip until kind of proven otherwise. Like, look at this. Right? What about this daily chart? Looks like I want to short lows right now. Do you want to short those lows? 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 Do you want to short these lows? But for some reason, people get stuck in this mindset. Every time the market starts to pull back a little bit, they're like, that's it. That's it. It's over. It's over. We're going to zero. Maybe eventually, but probably not here, probably not here, probably not here, probably not here, probably not here. Right? So that's what I mean. Until proven otherwise, until we start really shifting structure, like maybe breaking prior lows on a daily and start doing that, then I'm going to continue to go with the market context, which is you know, buy the dip at key levels. And when proven wrong, and when we start shifting structure and things like that, and I'm not saying you can't play counter trend, right? You can, but just understand if you are playing counter trend, how to manage that differently and how to execute that differently. It's easier to go with that trend, right? It's easier to get lucky. It's easier to get higher risk reward. It's easier just all around. You're making it harder on yourself to try to play counter trend. Definitely going to zero. NASDAQ's at 29,000. We have basically gone up from 23,000 to 29,000 in a couple weeks. And MFers are still trying to call the top. Bro. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. What questions you guys got in the chat? We got a dip off this zone. Did anybody take this, by the way? I didn't take this again because I've been talking with you guys, but what a nice buy opportunity there. 1 time, 2 time, 3 times. 3 opportunities to catch that zone there. Anybody take it in the chat? Let me know. Took it. Multiple people. Bro, let's go. Let's go. Put a W in the chat. Stefan caught it over in Discord. Put a W in the chat if you caught that. I mean, even if you just scalp it into prior highs, like the risk versus reward here, even just to these prior highs is like, even if you played it loosely, you're looking to get an entry around 50 and give it, you know, 15 points of breathing room. That's still like 4 or 5 R, just targeting these prior highs for a pop there or VWAP there. W in the chat, guys. Nice catch. I'm not calling signals for you guys. I'm just giving you the analysis, right? Giving you guys the analysis and the zones to watch. If you took that trade on your own, that's all you caught it. You did the work. You did the analysis. Good job. That's all right. I already caught a really nice rip earlier. I made back a few break-even trades and a couple point loss there easily in one trade. I think I made about $1,000 on that one trade. Yeah, I took it from 29,122 to 29,169. But really nice opportunity here for a reload. Again, just recapping. So we saw aggressive sellers on the way down get absorbed here by big passive buyers. We recaptured them, and then it became an area where aggressive buyers want to defend a pullback. Right? So passive buying on the way down, recaptured aggressively. Now aggressive buyers defend again on the pullback. That's how it goes. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Anybody still in? Anybody still riding this thing off that zone? Holy crap. The 2 zones that I gave you guys at the lows today. This one down here, 29,100 to 29,50. And then once we recaptured this key zone, this spot here, 29,150 to 29,130. Really precise spot there and absolutely ripped. We're up like over 100 points. Still riding. Curry's still riding it, bro. Bro is a cowboy. Let's go. Ray just said he just got out. Bro, let's go. You caught more than I did, dude. Oh, let's go. That's sick. Just got out at 279. Hell yeah, dude. Nice. Let's go. Let's go. Great catch, guys. That amps me up. I love seeing it, guys. Great work. I love it. Love it. Anybody have questions on the analysis or how we found this zone? Did anybody join late? Do you want me to recap how we found this zone to begin with? Got the whole move, Corey. Holy. Put a W in the chat if you caught that. I caught a piece of it. A lot of people caught it. Again, That's all on you. I'm sharing you the analysis, the reason why to watch these spots. If you caught that, you did the work yourself, you did the analysis yourself, great job. Nice, guys. Really nice. It was clear, man. It was pretty clear. Heck yeah. Do you guys want to recap how we found that zone for the bottom today? Did anybody join late and want to recap how we found that? Sucker's still ripping. Jeez. Still ripping. Good grief. All right, let's go. How do we find it? So looking at my deep chart here, volume profile, I was watching this zone. This was a key level of support and resistance. Again, similar to the stuff that I told you before. We had prior lows here that held, right? So one, this was an area where we originally saw a really big aggressive buyer, right? The market got under him with this really aggressive selling and then recaptured. And remember what I said, like if we recapture an area like that where these big aggressive selling, and we can see this low volume area spot here as well, it's just a key pivotal spot where we've seen big orders coming in 1 time, 2 times. We dipped into it and held 3 times. Look at that. Right? So it's a key spot, and now prior lows there as well, where we've seen big orders come in and a low volume area on the volume profile, right? So key spot, and then forming up today, we had this large kind of balanced bell curve range formed just above there. We broke down under that. So what happens when we break under that value area low? It triggered a lot of people to chase it short right into this key area of support and resistance where we've seen big players get involved, right? Multiple times we've seen big players get involved in this zone here. So when we came back into it, a lot of people chased it short on the break of that low. Look at that big aggressive selling, right? That's not small orders. Those are massive orders to trigger that, right? And so when we dipped down there, we saw weaker selling all the way into the lows. And then in real time on Bookmap, we saw really aggressive buying step in, right? So that's what I was saying. Like I was catching it down here in the zone, just targeting a scalp back up into here. But what I said in real time is like, okay, if we recapture above these aggressive sellers were absorbed by big passive buyers. Now we're back above them. Aggressive buyers will likely want to defend if we pull back into them. And that was the second setup that I shared today there. We pulled back into them and those big aggressive buyers did defend there. So we're likely going to rip towards these highs of this range at least. Now looking at Bookmap in real time, this is when we dipped into that zone. We saw that spike of aggressive selling here, but look how it fizzled off right into this zone. So this green box here is that 2950 to 29100 zone that we had marked on the volume profile. And then look at the aggressive buying that came in, right? So we had that surge of negative delta in there, spiked. I think this is the pullback I took long here, right? Once we shifted that structure with that absorption. Speculating we'd go rip back up into that range, which we did. That was my scalp. But then once we recaptured these guys, that big aggressive selling that got absorbed on the way down, then it's like, okay, now step 2, do we pull back and aggressive buyers defend them? Now fast forward 30 minutes or so, 20 minutes or so. What was it? We saw that zone form here at 9:45. We pulled back 15 minutes later. Look at that. Held 1 time, held 2 times, held 3 times, and even gave us 3 higher lows cleanly off that too. And just ripped. Look at that. Shins just got out, bro. He held for the full laser beam. Nice. Nice. Great job, guys. Great job. Pretty similar thing held on ES as well, just not as big of a move. Similar thing held. We got down to that same zone there. Let's take a look here on ES. Same zone held, same thing. Aggressive selling came right in there, recaptured. We're just now coming to those highs, just not as fast, not as violent, but it's still held there. And so this zone came again. Looking at this spot, let me snip this so I can draw on it for you guys why I was watching this spot. This was a key area to watch for me because one, it was prior resistance where these big sellers tried to resist. Then once we broke over it, there was big aggressive buying that came in, right? So that became a key zone that I wanted to watch because it was prior resistance where biggest sellers came in. We recaptured it, failed to break down back up below it, and then on the recapture, big aggressive buying came in, right? So that zone right there was exactly why I wanted to watch that area. We dipped into it here, held it, and ripped off of it. Man, this thing is, yeah, this is what I was saying, guys, man. This is why I'm not shorting lows in these conditions, man. Understand the market context. Understand the market context. Trading into lows at key areas of, support. I'm not trying to short those lows. I'd happily take a couple different attempts to catch it long, and then that thing rips back until context changes. Right, that's the move right now, guys. Yeah, we got giveaways today. People will be selected in the chat and Discord as well. If you guys are over in Discord, I shared those screenshots there in Discord as well. Curry's still in this thing. I'd at least, so at a minimum, Curry, don't give it all back, right? You got a freaking huge move. Curry's still in it. At least trail your profits somewhere that makes sense, right? That's what I do anyway, personally, right? If you want to keep running for a big move, that's amazing. Do it. But just have, I guess the most important thing, right, is have a system and a plan for how you do that. Don't do it randomly, right? When you have a setup like this, have a plan for how you manage it and do it consistently. Trail your stop at, prior lows as they form, if that's, how you hold trending moves. Overall, the market's on a higher time frame uptrend, so it is appropriate in these conditions to hold and trail. Heck yeah, Josh said, thanks for the analysis. Awesome. All right, guys. So I was just talking to the team. Let's do a giveaway with the spin the wheel today. So I'll let you know the keyword in just a minute, and you'll put it in the chat to be entered for the giveaway, okay? Let me pull it up here. All right, so we're gonna do the giveaway with spin the wheel today. The real giveaway was this dang analysis. Am I right? People caught 100-point moves here today. Plus. Yeah. Gave you guys these lows, man. It's a hell of a giveaway. All right. Exclamation point order flow. Order flow gave us the low of the day here today so far. It may trade back down. Who knows? Don't try to guess that long. Exclamation point order flow in the chat one time if you want to be entered for the account giveaways here this morning. Yeah, we've got Apex, Alpha, and TradeZella giveaways, guys. Apex, Alpha, and TradeZella. All right, we're going to close it in just a sec. Sorry, guys. Still trying to get over this cold. All right, it's closed. All entries are in. We're going to run this giveaway for you guys. I'm getting the list from the team. 1 second. Here we go. All right, let me make this small so we can watch what's going on here. All right, so we got the names here for the giveaway. Let's go. We got the first one, Apex, coming up. Bake Abu 2872. Let me know if you're in the chat here. There he is. He's in the chat. There we go. Make sure you head over to the Chart Fanatics Discord to claim that. Chart Fanatics Discord. Go to follow the instructions there from the team to claim it. Make sure you do that. Congratulations. All right, we got another one. What do we have? Alpha coming up and a TradeZella 3-month subscription after that. Ready? Let's go. Vicky 8111. Let me know if you're in the chat here. Vicky 8111. Getting a bit of a pullback here now on ES and NQ. See if it gets defended. Vicky 8111, are you in the chat? Some buying starting to step in here on ES. There they are. Congratulations, Vicky, on winning the Alpha Capital Challenge. Make sure you follow the link there to the Chart Fanatics Discord, to the support channel. Follow the instructions there to claim that. And finally, we've got the TradeZella 3-month subscription giveaway. Let's run it. PS11651. Let me know if you're in the chat. PS11651. Sounds like a bot. Let me know if you're in the chat. PS 11651. There he is, or them, they. Congratulations on winning a 3-month TradeZella subscription. Thanks for participating here in the live stream today. Hope you guys learned something. That's the most important thing. Hope you guys learned something, learned how to do some analysis, maybe some order flow confirmations, things to watch for to add confluence. Even if you trade a more mechanical price action strategy, understanding how to read this in real time can give you like so much more precision. It's insane. Right? So even if you are just trading a price action strategy, if you just learn how to read this stuff, volume profiles, big participants, things like that, huge amount of precision, avoiding bad trades and taking, you know, super high risk versus reward because of the precision that you can gain. I go live here on Fridays on Chart Fanatics. Check out the series that I'm dropping on YouTube, by the way. If you guys are interested, I'm dropping an a free order flow trading course here on YouTube. Also have one coming on Chart Academy, but you can check that out now here. My streams on Chart Fanatics live are here on Fridays. Today at noon, the next video in the series that I'm dropping for free here on YouTube in the order flow trading course here on YouTube is dropping. So make sure you check out my channel there if you're interested in that. And if you have questions, always, you know, I'm very responsive to hitting people back on Instagram. If you have questions, things about your trading that you need help with, you know, shoot me a message. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you guys back here on Chart Fanatics Live next Friday. And until then, have a good weekend. Be safe, trade safe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.